Hello, my friends. Welcome to the Wicked Bitter channel. I'm Travis. Thank you for checking out this video. If you are new to this channel and you love WWE, you love pro wrestling, then this right here is a perfect partnership. You and I both love wrestling, so why don't you do yourself a favor? Do me a favor. Do this channel a favor. Subscribe to this channel. Like this video. We have WWE content coming out every single week. Raw, Smackdown, PLEs. I do email videos where you send in emails. I answer them here. And then we got more things coming up. We're going to do some live streaming. We're going to do watch-alongs. It's going to be a great channel to follow, honestly, in 2025. I'm going to be honest with you. I got a lot of plans for this channel, so this is just the tip of the iceberg. There's a lot more to come. Oh, my friends. Woo-wee. Man, it's Tiffy time, baby. It's Tiffy time. Wow. Tiffany Stratton. We'll get to it. I also put out a video last night after it happened. Is this mic going down? I feel like it's lowering. Man, Tiffany Stratton, our brand new women's champion. We're going to get into it. Well, let's talk about some things that happened on SmackDown. I don't know if I want to cover everything because there were a few big things that happened on SmackDown that I think we should definitely talk about. And then there's also some smaller things. Quick rundown of some smaller things. DIY versus Motor City Machine Guns. Pretty deadly. And Angel and Garza kind of got involved in that. Became like a double kind of DQ kind of thing. It was a title match, tag team title match. And so it ended up becoming a DQ. DIY walks out with their titles in hand. So expect something to come out of that, out of those four tag teams, which I'm sure they're going to put on some great matches. Mi Chen defeated Piper Niven. A couple other small things, if I can think about them, I'll bring them up. But I want to get into the bigger things that happened on SmackDown for sure, starting with our undisputed champion, Cody Rhodes, and that whole situation with Kevin Owens. So I took some notes because I didn't want to miss anything, but Cody Rhodes starts the show talking about how he's not cleared to compete, but he will be facing Kevin Owens for I guess both titles. I guess the double wing title that Kevin Owens has been walking around with, plus Cody Rhodes' title. They're both going to be hung above the ring. It's going to be a ladder match at Royal Rumble. And whoever wins is going to win those two titles. So there's a lot of interesting things happening right now in WWE. Because for a while, I've been thinking that Cody Rhodes is going to hold these titles all the way through WrestleMania and have a match at WrestleMania. But now I'm starting to think different things. I'm starting to think maybe there's a way we go here where Cody Rhodes loses this title to Kevin Owens. And maybe it happens at the Royal Rumble. Who knows? But as Cody Rhodes is cutting this promo, I got to look at my notes here. Drew McIntyre interrupts. He actually stares at Cody Rhodes at first, and then he hugs him, which I thought was very strange. He tells Cody that he's known him for a very long time. They go way back, but Cody Rhodes is the quarterback of WWE, but he's going to screw up everything that he has worked for up until this point. So that was pretty interesting there from Drew. Basically, what it boils down to is Drew McIntyre finds a way to tell Cody Rhodes, hey, I'm not going to attack you. I'm actually here to help you. I want to have your back. You need somebody to have your back. And Cody Rhodes kind of cuts him off. He doesn't believe Drew McIntyre, rightfully so. Why would you? Drew McIntyre insists that he's always telling the truth. Cody Rhodes says, hey, you know what? Let's just get this over with right now. You want a shot at this title? Come on, let's fight. Drew McIntyre gets out of the ring and says, hey, sooner or later, you're going to have to start listening to me. I'm telling you the truth. You're going to need to watch your back. And as he says that, Kevin Owens appears in the ring. He attacks Cody Rhodes from behind. A little bit of a brawl between the two, and officials come out and they have to break the whole thing up. But that's the way SmackDown starts, and the more and more things go, it makes me believe more and more that Kevin Owens, Drew McIntyre, and that Seth Rollins faction that we're all rumored to hear for a while now, I'm starting to feel like it's really going to happen. Shinsuke Nakamura, our U.S. champion, comes out. He's set to go one-on-one with Andrade. And first of all, I want to say how big of a letdown it is to hear that Shinsuke Nakamura is coming out to basically no crowd reaction. This man's amazing. I love Shinsuke, and it bums me out to see that nobody really cheers him or does anything at all. He came out, and it was silent in that arena. Other than his music, you could hear a pin drop in that arena. Nobody gave a crap that Shinsuke was out there, and I was a little bummed out about it. But he goes one-on-one with Andrade. Shinsuke ends up winning this match, and as he goes to raise the title after the match, celebrate his victory, LA Knight comes out. LA Knight comes running down, which, by the way, you go from no reaction to Shinsuke to a humongous pop for LA Knight. He's still getting very big pops. He comes running down to the ring. He fights Shinsuke in the ring. Shinsuke leaves. LA Knight cuts a quick promo saying that, he's not going to stop until he gets what he's owed, which is a title rematch against Shinsuke Nakamura. He's coming for that United States Championship. For a while, I was thinking that maybe LA Knight gets moved over to Raw, but I don't know. Maybe he stays on SmackDown. Especially if Gunther is going to get moved over to SmackDown and Cody goes to Raw. I could see LA Knight competing for the World Heavyweight Championship in 2025 more than I could see him competing for the WWE Undisputed Championship. So, I don't know. I like LA Knight going to Raw, but I think I might want LA Knight to stay on SmackDown. By the way, can I mention, it took me a good few minutes to realize this, but the mat in the ring for SmackDown is blue. I love that. I actually really am a big fan of that. It kind of has an old school feel to the matches, but with a modern day WWE. I don't know. I like it. I like it a lot. I know some people might not, so let me know in the comments if you like that blue mat in the ring. I actually really liked it. I'm curious to know what you think. Man, I had to take notes for this next thing. Paul Heyman comes out, cuts a promo. My goodness, it was a great promo. Of course, what you expected out of Paul Heyman. He says this Solo Sikoa stole the Olafala from Roman Reigns. He didn't actually earn it. He actually calls Solo a twisted son of a bitch, which I thought was actually kind of like a shocking line. I was like, whoa, okay. Does Paul Heyman have backup here today? Because Solo and the Bloodline are probably going to come out and attack you for saying this stuff. But it ended up being fine, I guess. Solo said he says that Solo got rid of Paul Heyman and Jimmy Uso because he knew that they would never acknowledge Solo Sikoa as tribal chief. He says that no sane man would ever acknowledge Solo Sikoa as the tribal chief, which I thought was also a pretty good line. He says that Roman Reigns will win on Monday, and he is the only true tribal chief, and that's when Solo Sikoa comes out. And Solo Sikoa, he has been getting better and better as the weeks go. I love his work. He actually looks at Paul Heyman. He tells him, CM Punk, you still owe him a favor, don't you? And Paul Heyman says, yes, I do. And then Solo says, okay, how about I owe you a favor? And Paul Heyman looks surprised. He's like, what are you talking about? Solo Sikoa has requested that during the match that he has with Roman Reigns on Monday Night Raw on Netflix, that Paul Heyman is ringside and he holds the Ulafala. And if Roman Reigns wins, Paul Heyman can put the Ulafala over Roman Reigns' shoulders, and Solo Sikoa will acknowledge him as tribal chief. But when Solo Sikoa wins, Paul Heyman needs to put the Ulafala on Solo Sikoa. They need to acknowledge Solo as the tribal chief. And I think the biggest part of this, Solo Sikoa says, once that happens, Paul Heyman will be Solo Sikoa's wise man forever. So if Roman Reigns loses on Monday, Paul Heyman has to put the Ulafala on Solo, and he has to be Solo's wise man forever. Now, I still think CM Punk and Seth Rollins should be the main event of Raw. Wherever this Roman Reigns and Solo match ends up, first match, last match, whatever it may be, I think it's going to be a great match, but it's also one I think you really have to keep an eye on because I don't know what's happening here. Paul Heyman had the red pocket square that kind of matches Solo's when he came out in his black blazer and the red t-shirt underneath. There's still this uneasy feeling I get that Paul Heyman is in cahoots with Solo. I just got this weird feeling that he's going to turn heel. Paul Heyman is better as a heel. Let's just call it what it is. I love Paul Heyman. He could do anything he wants. He could do anything he wants, and he can do it great. But I think his best value is when he's a heel. So I don't think Roman's going to be an actual heel. So where does that leave Paul Heyman? I think Paul Heyman joins Solo Sikoa. I don't know. I got this weird feeling it's going to happen. I could be way off. It could be just Roman Reigns beating Solo on Raw, which I think will be what happens because it's Monday Night Raw. It's the first time ever on Netflix. Roman Reigns has been one of the faces of the company for the longest time. WWE is going to probably expect a brand new audience to be watching for the first time. So they're going to want to position Roman in front of those new people as, hey, this is one of our biggest guys. And look what he just did. He defeated this other guy in a big match with big implications. So I have a feeling Roman's going to win, but I still got this feeling that somewhere down the line, and it may not be too far down the line, Paul Heyman is going to align with Solo, or he's going to turn on Roman Reigns. We have an interesting backstage segment that happened. Jimmy Uso, Jey Uso, Sami Zayn, Carmelo all talking, all that kind of stuff. I won't get into that. It's when Sami heads back to the locker room to get ready for his match, the main event tag team match, and Jimmy and Jey are walking down the hall. Kevin Owens bumps into Jey. Jey Uso says, man, you better watch where you're going. And then Kevin Owens kind of smirks and he says, I think you better watch your back. Now, we get Drew McIntyre saying watch your back to Cody. We get Kevin Owens saying watch your back to Jey. I think there is a connection here. I think this faction that we're all been thinking about, talking about, hearing about, seeing rumors about, I think it's going to happen. And I'm okay with it. I love it. If it's going to happen, though, I would love for it to happen on SmackDown. Let me get Kevin Owens, Drew McIntyre, and Seth Rollins on SmackDown. I don't know when's the last time Seth was an actual main roster SmackDown superstar. I would love for it to be now. I would love Seth. I've been actually calling for this before. I would like Seth to move over to SmackDown for a little bit. He's been on Raw for a very long time. Let's get Seth over there. We're going to need big star power on SmackDown. SmackDown's 3 hours now. We're going to need a bigger, better, a bulkier roster for SmackDown. What better way to have than to have Seth Rollins on there, especially if he's going to be running a faction with Kevin Owens and Drew McIntyre. Give me that. But yeah, interesting backstage segment for sure. And here is the moment of the night. I already covered it in the video yesterday. Tiffany Stratton cashes in on Nia Jax. I won't get into all the specifics and details, or maybe I will. But Nia Jax and Naomi have a title match. Tiffany Stratton comes out. The referee gets distracted by Candice LeRae, who's ringside. Tiffany looks like she's going to cash in. She ends up hitting Naomi with the briefcase. Nia Jax pins Naomi with the Annihilator after hitting the Annihilator. Retains the championship. After the match, there's a brawl. Bianca Belair gets involved. And then what happens is Tiffany Stratton ends up hitting Nia Jax from behind with the briefcase. Nia didn't know who hit her. Bianca hits the KOD. And then Tiffany gets Bianca out of the ring. Tiffany Stratton cashes in, becomes the brand new women's champion on SmackDown. I have a feeling now that she's champion, she will get moved over to Raw, and then Liv will get moved over to SmackDown to kind of switch up the rosters a little bit. Plus, Kaiser is on Raw, so you would think Tiffany and Kaiser would be together. I could be wrong. I think if Cody actually... it makes perfect sense. If Cody's moving to Raw with his title, you need that corresponding women's title to move to Raw, so I could see Tiffany going, and then I could see Liv and Gunther, because they have the same type of championship design. I could see them being moved over to SmackDown. So that's what I fully expect to happen. I could be wrong, but I got a pretty good hunch about it. We get our main event, Solo, Tama, and Jacob Fatu versus Jimmy J and Sami Zayn. It was a great tag team main event. I mean, as you would expect, the 6-man tag, great on both sides. Both teams looked great. Drew McIntyre gets involved later on in the match here towards the end, and ends up Solo ends up hitting a Samoan spike on Jey Uso after Jey was trying to pin Fatu, thinking that he was the legal man when he wasn't. So, he gets the Samoan spike. Solo Sikoa pins Jey Uso for the win. And there it is. At the end of the match, we got Solo, Fatu, and Tama Tonga holding up the ones. This is right. This was the right move. Solo Sikoa needed a big win moving into Monday Night Raw to face Roman Reigns in their match. You could say maybe it hurt Jey Uso a little bit because he's got a match with Drew on Monday, but it is what it is. The Roman versus Solo is the bigger match. That's what Monday Night is being built for. So it was a good move on WWE's part. I feel like to have Solo not even just get the win, but to pin Jey Uso, one of the biggest faces in the company right now. All that momentum's on Solo's side. Monday Night Raw is going to be great. I'm actually going to come out with a prediction video probably tomorrow. If you're watching this on Saturday, it'll be out on Sunday, the Sunday right before Raw's move to Netflix. And I'm going to do a little bit of a predictions of what I think will happen on Monday Night Raw. So I appreciate you checking out the video. Quick note. A few months ago, I don't know if you remember, I was on a podcast, a wrestling podcast called Turnbuckle Tavern. I will be going back on that podcast again. I've been invited back. I'm very happy about that. Very thankful for the opportunity. I am representing all of us here at Wicked Bitter. So where I go, you guys go, and vice versa. So I will be a guest on that podcast, and it will be the following Wednesday. So I think it's January 8th, which is 2 days after Raw's moved to Netflix. So I'm sure we're going to have some great things to talk about. If you want to listen to their audio, you can go find them on Spotify, Apple Music, wherever else they have podcasts at. But if you want to watch the video of it, I'm pretty sure it's on their Patreon. You probably have to pay. So if you don't want to pay, you can at least listen to them on Spotify. So I appreciate all the support, my friends. This is a brand new year. Start your new year right. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't yet. We'll be back with more videos. And honestly, I got some stuff planned. I got some things planned, some new things to do on this channel. I'm happy that you're here with me. We get to do this stuff together. And yeah, I'm excited for it. I just need some time, a couple weeks, something like that. I need to try to get things set up, make sure everything works, and we're good to go. Okay. I hope you guys have a good rest of your weekend. We'll be back with more videos. Please like the video if you haven't yet. It helps me big time. As always, my friends, until we yeet again, stay bitter.